Good morning, boys and girls, and happy Wednesday. So, we have been learning for a couple of weeks, well, a week and a half now, about comparison problems and how they're different than part whole or change problems. If you'll remember, change problems have action. Part whole is just talking about how part of what the story is about is one thing and the other part is something else. But compare problems are when we have two things and one of them is more than, or one of them is fewer than, and we want to find what they have in common. Remember, we used our pencil and then we looked for the extra. And that's what we're going to continue to do today. Only we are going to jump right in to our organizers. I am going to throw in checking our work with our number mats, okay? Because that is still important to think about. I do still have a few friends that are adding all of these together, and I don't want to know how many there are in all. So I hope that you all are watching the lessons before you're doing the work. That would be super helpful. Okay, let's get started, guys. It says Carlos has 9 baseball cards. So Carlos has 9 baseball cards, and I'm just going to go ahead and mark 9 on one of these. Okay. Alan has 13 baseball cards. So there's 10, 11, 12, 13. And I want to know how many more cards does Alan have than Carlos? So let's look at the numbers that Mrs. Fuson marked before we move to the organizer. Look at what we've done. So Carlos has 9 cards. Alan has 13, and the question says, how many more does Alan have than Carlos? Does he have more? Yes, because 13 is longer than 9. It's more than. It's more than. So the way we find what's more than, remember, we put the pencil at the end of what they have in common. They both have 9 at the end of the small number. And I'm looking for the extra. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 extra. Let's use our organizer to see if that is correct. So we said 13 was the large amount, 9 is the small amount, and we're looking for the difference, which means subtract. Because honestly, the only time I add is when I'm looking for the whole. And I am not looking for how many cards they have all together. That's not what the question asked. It asked how many more cards does Alan have than Carlos. So we are going to take the large amount and subtract the small amount. Are you ready? Here we go. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Awesome. We got the same answer. That is so cool. That means we must be doing something right. All right, here we go. On to the next. So, Darius has 12 toy figures. So let's mark 12. See, 10, 11, 12. And Erica has 5 toy figures. How many more toy figures does Darius have than Erica? Does he have more? Let's check it out. Line up our mats. They have 5 in common. I'm going to stop at the end of what they have in common, and I'm going to look at the extra only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Darius has 7 more than Erica. Let's check that on our mat. So we looked and we noticed that 12 was more than 5. And we are looking for the difference, which in the world of math means we are subtracting, because the only time I add is when I'm looking for the whole. So I'm going to start with the large amount, subtract the small amount, and let's count back. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Very good, guys. I feel like you all are really, really getting this. Okay. Let's move on. On to the next. Mrs. Smith's class has 9 playground balls. So we're going to mark the 9 to represent Miss Smith's class playground balls. Mrs. Brown's class has 13 playground balls. So 10, 11, 12, 13. How many fewer balls does Miss Smith's class have? Do they have fewer? Yes, they do. 9 is fewer than 13, and I can tell because it's shorter, right? So I'm going to go to the end of the 9. It's what they both have 9 in common. After that, they don't have anything else in common. There's no 10 here. So we're going to count the extra. 1, 2, 3, 4 extra. Let's check that with our organizer. So we knew that 9 was the smaller amount and that 13 was the large amount, which means we are looking for the difference, which means subtraction, right? Because the only time I add is when I'm looking for the whole. So we are going to do some subtracting. Here we go. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Nicely done. Nicely done. Okay. How are you feeling about these compare problems? I'm hoping that you are feeling good. Your work looks super good. The work that I've been getting looks super good. I do have just a few people that are still adding. And we also want to make sure that the work is complete all the way. All of the assignment is done before we turn those in. Okay? All right. Grace has 8 stretchy bands. 10, 9, 8. Craig has 15 stretchy bands. 10, 15. And I want to know how many more stretchy bands does Craig have than Grace? Does Craig have more stretchy bands? Let's look. Well, yes, his number is longer than Grace. So we're going to go to the end of what they have in common. 8 is all they have in common. 8 does not have a 9 in it. I can't go any further. And we're going to count the extra to find out how many more stretchy bands Craig has. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extra. Let's double check that with our organizer. So we knew that 15 was the large amount, and we knew that 8 is the small amount, and we are looking for the difference, boys and girls, which means we are subtracting, because the only time I add is when I'm looking for the whole. And we are not looking for the total or the whole amount here. So we are going to take the large amount, subtract the small amount, and we are going to count back. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Guys, we're doing such a good job. Do you realize that all 4 problems have been correct? That's you. You're doing such a good job. Such a good job. Let's do one more And that'll be our lesson for today. All right, last one. Tomas has 11 cars. So we have 10, 11. John has 5. How many fewer cars does John have than Tomas? Does he have fewer? Yes, actually, if we look at these two numbers and we're comparing, 5 is much shorter. So we're going to go to the end of what they have in common. 5 is all they have in common. And we're going to count this extra here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 fewer. So let's double check that with our mat. We said that 11 was more than 5 and that we are looking for the difference, which means subtract. So large amount minus small amount. Let's do this. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Nice job. Whoa. So proud. So boys and girls, on today's or tomorrow's assignment rather, you have one last page. And next week, that means we're going to be progress monitoring. If you are a scholar who has unfinished work, you will need to get those completed and or corrected. I know I gave some of you corrections on last week's work. That will have to be completed before next week's progress monitoring. So please, I haven't had anyone come to me from this class during my office hours to talk about problems, and I know I have a few of you that need to come see me, and we need to talk about your problems, and we need to talk about how to correct your work so that you can have a better grade, right? And not more than just your grade, because obviously a grade is important, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that you understand what you're doing. I don't know about you, but I feel a little frustrated when I'm in a situation and I don't really understand what's going on. It makes it hard for me to pay attention. I might feel a little anxious and I might stop paying attention. Those kinds of things. I can feel nervous inside, and I don't want you to feel like that. So please bring your assignment. Come see me. I know 8 o'clock is pretty early in the morning, but you know what? It's not any earlier than it would be if we were at school, right? So please do come see me. Bring me the work that you don't understand. Let's talk through it. You can present your page to me and we can go through it on the meets. All right? You have a fabulous day, boys and girls. See you tomorrow.